Yeah.
So have you learned about complex numbers before? Have you heard about complex numbers?
I've done the basic stuff with complex numbers. That's like Euler's formula and I and like the E sine theta stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but very basic level.
Very basic level. Okay. You know how to find the polar form, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, done. So basically, what is the difference between the other numbers and the complex numbers?
Complex numbers are imaginary, like they have the imaginary element in it.
Yeah. So usually the complex numbers are represented by Z, right?
Mhm.
Usually it is represented by Z where you have a real part and an imaginary part,
Yeah.
right? The difference between the other numbers and the complex number is you have a special number here, I. Special
Hmm.
symbol. I can call this a symbol. It's a special symbol which has I, right?
Yeah.
So with I, whatever you see the number, that is your imaginary part, right?
Yeah.
And whatever you see as a without I, that is a real part.
Hmm.
Okay. Apart from this, when you start from with the complex number, just like when you start with the other numbers, okay, arithmetic operations, you have operations with complex numbers, right?
Hmm.
This would you would have learned. They do addition with the complex numbers. They do subtraction with the complex number. Then they do multiplication with the complex number. Then they do division with the complex number, right?
Yeah.
So when you have a number, say Z1 is equal to 2 plus 3i, and you have Z2 is equal to 4 plus 5i. So how do
Hmm.
you add Z1 plus Z2?
You add the real parts, add the complex parts.
That's all. You have you should add the real parts, that is 6 plus 5, 8i, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
The same way you will do for the multiplication subtraction also. You will just subtract the real parts and also subtract the imaginary parts. But
Yeah.
when it comes to multiplication, what will you do?
Um,
Multiplication.
you do
Multiplication of
the
complex numbers.
expansion, right? You use your FOIL method to expand it.
Yes, right. Yeah, correct. You use the FOIL method to expand them. Then
And then you just
to the
combine it
standard
together.
form. Yeah, you bring it to the standard form. Before
Hmm.
that, you would have learned about what are the values of I. I is equal to square root of minus 1. I square will be equal to minus 1. I to the power of 3 will be equal to minus I, isn't it? I to the
Yeah.
power of 4 is equal to 1. Have you learned about this?
Yeah, this much I've done. Huh.
Ah. So you know the values of I. If I give you I to the power of 36, what is the value of I? What is this
Uh,
value?
it's an even, so it should be negative I.
Is it so? So what method will you use for this?
So even powers of I is negative I. Odd powers
Hmm.
of I is just I.
So if you have e to the power, what is the value of this? If you simplify this, how what will you get?
Uh, isn't it just negative I though? Because
See
it's
this, you should divide by 4, no?
hmm.
Yeah, I to the power of 4 is equal to 1. You divide this by 4, what do you get?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So
9.
36.9, huh?
This will be 0, isn't it? The
Right.
remainder is 0. So this is I to the power of 0. You can
Huh.
directly write this. Anything to the power of 0 is 1.
Right.
So if I have say 32 or
Hmm.
31, okay. So 31 again I divide it by 4.
Yeah.
So if I divide by 4, what will I get?
So 31 divided by 4 is 7 with remainder 3.
So this will be 28.
Huh.
28. This will be remainder 3. So this is I to the power of 3. I to the power of 3 value is what, dear?
I negative.
Haha. I is equal to square root of minus 1. I
Huh.
square will be equal to minus 1.
This one.
I cube value will be
Cube
equal to
negative
minus
I.
I.
Huh.
So this value will be minus I.
Yeah.
This is your simplification. That is how you do it. Divide by 4 and do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So after this, you would have learnt about the
Hmm.
conjugate of, you would have heard about conjugate of the complex number. So what is the conjugate of the complex number doing? If you have a 3 plus 4i, the conjugate of this will be equal to the negative sign in the imaginary part. You remember this?
Hmm.
Since you told that you already know, I'm just rushing it, that's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct? Your positive part becomes a negative part in conjugate.
Right.
Correct?
Hmm.
Then after this comes your what is that? Converting the polar form to Cartesian form to polar form. Remember?
Right. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, modulus. What is the modulus of a complex number? R will be equal to square root of 3 square plus 4 square.
Yeah.
3 square plus 4 square is 9 plus 16, right? 9
Hmm.
plus 16 is 25. The conjugate or the modulus of a complex R will be 5.
5.
Correct?
Hmm.
These are the basic topics which you have for your complex number. So how do you convert a, or do you tell, say you have a number 1
Hmm.
plus I. Okay. This is in the Cartesian form. Correct, Noria? This
Yeah.
is in the Cartesian form. I want to convert this to polar form.
Okay.
How do you do it? How do you do this? Polar form means you have sin theta in that, you have cos theta. So how do you convert that to polar form?
So first you have to find r and then you have to find theta.
Hmm?
So r we just did, it's the square root of x squared to y square, x squared plus y squared, sorry.
Hmm?
And then Cartesian, sorry, the theta is tan theta is your y by x.
Very good. You remember. Good.
Hmm.
So, so tan theta will be equal to 1 by 1, right?
Yeah.
So what will be tan inverse? Tan inverse of 1 will be,
Hmm.
what is tan inverse
Uh,
of 1?
tan inverse of 1 is 45 degrees, right?
That's right.
Hmm.
You're right. So how will you write this now? Z in the polar form?
So z in polar form is r sine theta plus r cos theta, right? I r cos theta.
Or cos theta plus I sin theta, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
So Z will be equal to root 2 cos of 45 degrees plus
Hmm.
I sin 45 degrees.
45. Right.
Okay, it's the same thing if I have it in x minus I. What is the
Hmm.
difference between what happens here?
The difference ends up in your theta value
Yeah,
because
how
now it's going to be tan inverse of -1 instead of tan inverse of 1.
yeah, why? Which quadrant does it come?
Uh, Third. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Mm,
Positive x, negative y.
positive x, negative y, third quadrant. So third quadrant theta will be minus, right? So
Yeah.
your formula is your theta, your minus theta, your pi minus no, pi minus
Hmm.
theta, your minus of pi minus theta. Am I right?
Yeah.
This is the quadrants. Very nice. Till here you know. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the basic concepts of complex number. I am reading out your syllabus now after this. See this
Hmm.
definition of the complex number. Then you have basic complex algebraic operation manipulation. That means your addition, subtraction, okay,
Yeah.
multiplication, everything. Then you have magnitude and argument of the complex number. You already understood magnitude and argument of the complex number, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Complex exponentials and trigonometric functions. So, okay, this is the next concept you have. Then we have Euler's formula and its uses.